America's longest war has finally ended after American troops were withdrawn from Afghanistan after the Taliban advanced on Kabul. Unfortunately, the withdrawal was so chaotic and disorganized that thousands of Americans were left stranded, as well as billions of dollars worth of military equipment that the Taliban got their hands on. So, who is to blame for this incompetence, and what will be the impact of it? Well, stay tuned, because it's all coming up on the Ford File. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ford File. If it's your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciated. It'll raise your IQ by at least 10 points. Not kidding. It's so true. And today's case file is the totally incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. So, over the past week, the Taliban has advanced and took Kabul, which has sent thousands into panic, and it was just stirred flashbacks from the fall of Saigon, which last month Joe Biden said wouldn't happen. Take a listen.
The Taliban is not the North Vietnamese army. They're not remotely comparable in terms of capability. There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof of a embassy of the United States from Afghanistan. It is not at all comparable.
So, just to be clear, I 100% support leaving Afghanistan. We should have left a long time ago. And we should have left after bin Laden was killed. But, you know, forever wars got a forever wars. And the military industrial complex was getting too rich off of these wars. And I knew that the Taliban was going to take over Afghanistan after we left. It was inevitable. But the problem is that they took over it so quickly that we couldn't even get all of our civilians out, and our equipment was left there, and we didn't destroy our bases or anything, so now they can use them. That's the issue. So now, with American citizens trapped behind enemy lines, who's at fault for this? Well, the obvious answer is former Vice President Joe Biden, of course, but let's not forget our incompetent woke generals who had 18 months to plan a withdrawal plan, and they didn't do anything. In fact, to show how incompetent they are, here's General Milley on how he could never have seen this happening. Take a listen.
There was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated a collapse of this army and this government in 11 days.
Well, actually not surprising, because he was probably he was too worried about reading about white rage than, actually doing his job, which is winning wars. And here's another little interesting tidbit from Secretary of Defense Austin, who says that we're not gonna go in and get Americans because we don't have that capability.
A distinction, Barb, between extracting someone in an in extremis condition or circumstance versus going out and collecting up large numbers of American citizens.
Do you have the capability to go out and collect Americans?
We don't have the capability to go out and collect up large numbers of people, Barb.
Are you serious? Britain and France are going in and getting their civilians and their government officials and everybody, but we're not. The greatest army and the greatest military in the world can't get our civilians out. That's what happens when we were too worried about being woke and diversity than, actually winning wars. As for Sleepy Joe, he has basically vanished pretty much, except for these two little speeches that he gave in an interview. So in the first one, he basically just blamed Trump. Big surprise there. And he didn't take any questions afterwards in either one. And he also tried to make it about why we withdrew, not how. Like, because most Americans wanted to be out of the Middle East, out of Afghanistan a long time ago. That's not why people are mad. It's that we left American citizens stranded behind enemy lines. And our military equipment is there that now the Taliban has their hands on. And, you know, they're going to examine it and then also show it to our enemies like China. And they're going to learn from it and make their own. So that's what people have a problem with. And the second speech, he didn't even address Afghanistan. He kind of tried to change the subject and like start going after Republican governors over mask mandates. Like, bro, that's not what we care about right now. In fact, no one with a brain cares about COVID anymore. Like this video if you can relate. And now the Taliban has checkpoints leading to the Kabul airport, and Americans who weren't already at the airport have to go through them to, you know, to get out of there. And instead of guaranteeing safe passage for Americans, Joe Biden is, you know, hiding at Camp David or Delaware and Wilmington. But he's actually been at the White House recently, but he had planned a vacation during the middle of this. And like, why wouldn't you remove civilians and equipment before the military? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, like, just get the military out of there and then like, oh crap, we forgot our equipment and civilians, so then we have to send the military back so then that we can get them out. And Trump put out a statement saying this, and you know, this would have been a super epic video we could have made. Like, after we got all the civilians out and you got all our equipment, we should have just rigged up all the bases with bombs and then like had a slow-mo action video. After it, like, they just press a button and it just explodes behind them. That would have been epic. Join the U.S. Army. That's a great commercial too. See, we could have used that, man. And the part where Biden blamed Trump for this, and he's like, oh, I had to go along with his withdrawal plan. Well, first of all, he didn't go along with it because the withdrawal date that Trump had planned was May 1st, and it was conditions based, and that the Taliban actually honored, by the way. So we would have been out by May 1st under Trump, and all of our civilians and equipment would have been out, and then he also wanted to, like I said, blow up our bases so that they couldn't use them. And remember when Trump threw up the flag after he ordered the assassination of Soleimani, after he killed Americans and threatened more? We could use him right now, a true leader, and unlike Sleepy Joe. By the way, if this happened under Trump, oh my God, the media would be saying, oh, he did this on purpose because he's collaborating with Putin. He's a Russian Kremlin. He's doing it for Russia. And Biden had an interview with George Stephanopoulos where it was kind of funny where Stephanopoulos mentioned the Afghans when the U.S. was leaving with their C-17s, and Afghans were trying to jump on the plane, and then they fell to the death because they couldn't hold on. And then Biden, he almost like dismissed it. Take a listen.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
Come on, man. That was 4 to 5 days ago, corn pop. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. Really, to think that the Afghan army had the best military equipment in the world and were being trained by the best military, and they couldn't do anything. Really, they didn't even try, because after the Afghan president, Ghani, just took, I believe it was like $160 million, something around that, and then just left. So that proves how much of a leader he was. And I heard that we were paying the Afghan army a lot of money to be the army. So really the only reason they were in it was for the money and not to actually fight for their country. And then now they're under the control of the Taliban. So, and that is sad that they didn't even try, and how we just wasted 20 years and billions of dollars on this, and it's all just went down the drain. On top of that, there's still thousands of Americans still stranded and are potential hostages. And the Taliban, they have our weapons and equipment, and our leaders are incompetent. Not a great place to be right now, but at least in the grand scheme of things, we're finally going to be out of Afghanistan. And the Biden administration is going to take the fall for this disaster of a withdrawal. So I guess in those two cases, in the end, it's going to be a win-win. That about wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. I think I just said the same thing over again. I meant to say, like this video and subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. And remember, or raise your IQ so you won't end up like Sleepy Joe and General Milley and Secretary of Defense Austin and VP Harris and be as incompetent as they are and strand thousands of American citizens behind enemy lines. Until next time, and call this case closed.